I attribute the success of the show and everything that's happened to you. Everybody knows that. I'm just a cute face on the internet.
Charlie's, it is probably that he associated success and growth with money. Me, I don't suffer from that vice. I don't care about money.
One, that your father is a Rothschild, that I'm a Rothschild. I just would like the money. If that is true, I want the money.
I don't know that.
But if we are aware, I want to check.
But if
I just would like the money.
Top G.
Where do the top G's
got blackmail on
you?
there.
They're like,
Candace Owens has made it no secret that she is just the talent and her husband helped her set up and is also the one that we should attribute the success of a show to. And many times when people say that, people say, I think she just means that he supports her emotionally, supports her practically, keeps her, maintains her support and things like that. No, we are not meaning in that cute, sweet way. No. She literally said he set up her podcast and helped her start running the podcast within a week. Remember, this is someone who has been in the show for a decade at least before she is claiming that she wants to thank her husband for setting up a podcast for her just within a week. And I was asking myself, all it takes is someone to have a microphone and have an editing software and you can go. So what do you mean? Shout out to Rosemary who wants to start a podcast. Congratulations to you, girl. Go, 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 go. I'm in support of you. And when she says that, I'm like, you just need a microphone and you can start a podcast. So why is she saying that, this, as if it was such a huge thing? And she has been in the industry for almost a decade, which means she has amassed lots and thousands, millions of followers beyond all platforms, which would enable her not to start in the stage where she has 2 views for some of her first videos or 20 views. It will mean she starts with banging views to begin with. Talk about the scandal she had on her hands to boot, which meant everyone was waiting. I couldn't wait for her to start the show. And I said to myself, this subtle softness is something we should look into because right now, I am in my investigative mood, okay? Let me wear it on now. First things first, I want us to clear some things up which are very pertinent. Her podcast and her wider media operation is run through a company called Georgetown Inc. Remember, in her lawsuits, all the lawsuits, Macron sued her when they sued her in Delaware and all of them. One thing I kept reading was the Georgetown Inc. And I was asking myself, George. Then after doing a little digging, guys, most of her podcasts, her shows, most of her media is run through this company, which is that of her husband. And according to public business filings, that company handles the business, meaning logistics, production, finances, management. Candace Owens is just the talent and the nexum for the brand, while George Farmer handles the behind-the-scenes work. He actually runs the mechanics, the business, and the structure, which means yes. And even her has acknowledged that George Farmer runs that business. So it is very understanding that she will say she owes the success of her podcast to her husband. It's not about emotional, cute, coupley support. No. Her entire media company and media program is run through Georgetown Inc. Candy baby, you're in danger. I'm just saying allegedly. You in danger, girl. After seeing this interesting little ticks here, starting to worry for the girl. Anyway, that's not why we're here today. Because I wanted to ensure that we understand what we are working with. If you've not watched the Bulletin Club, where I told you all about the dynamics of the Bulletin Club members, their thirst, their hunger for chaos, and how they enact it through the world without a care, and they go peruding and cruising around, causing all chaos around without a care. If you've watched that video, now Candace Owens' show, entire media personality and entire media platform being run through Georgetown Inc., will make so much sense to you. For some of you who are just showing up and you're just finding me today because you've never seen my channel, welcome to the channel. Subscribe here. You're welcome. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, from what continent, from what country, we don't give a care. Come right in, feel at home, share the video, and hey, while you're here, I like you to open your mind. 2 or more things can be right at the same time. You can love someone and still criticize them. And you can absolutely not like someone and still appreciate something they do that is right. So if you've not watched the Burlington Club and its association with Candace Owens and creating of chaos in the transatlantic world, honey, go watch that. This will make a lot of sense for you then. Okay? While you're there, let me take along those who've watched it and let's move on. Candace Owens, in one of her very telling and few interviews she has done with her husband, there were very telling moments there. If you remember yesterday, we looked at the moment where he was ranting on the cut, and I saw another one significant instant when he did that and were able to come out. We saw the most dangerous, scandalous, Republican, conservative, Christian scandals of the century. Go watch that video on the Jerry Falwell and Becky Falwell scandal and how Candace and her husband got mixed in that. Let's move on. So in this video, I saw one thing towards the end of the video, yeah? And Candace Owens said she wanted her and her darling husband to react to some of the conspiracy theories online about them. And this is around the 1 minute 12 mark of this video. So in case you want to go watch it to cross-check what I'm saying, around the 1 minute mark of the video, the title of the video is Meet My Husband, George Farmer. That is done 11 months ago. It's still on her channel, video section. You will find this. So they were reacting to her favorite conspiracy theories about them online. And boy, oh boy, did they confirm my Burlington Club and their chaos agenda. The Burlington Club playbook, which Candace Owens, her husband, is implementing using Candace Owens. Oh boy, it's so good. Superb. Okay, let's enjoy this.
Some on a topic that is very fun.
Okay.
Online conspiracies, they are my favorite.
Okay.
They're amazing. People come up with such amazing things. Do you know that, by the way, ChatGPT once gave somebody the answer and then they tagged me and they were like, what ancestry is George? And it said George Farmer was a Jew, like that your family was Jewish, that your father's father was Jewish, which is crazy. And then but the internet is a strange place. If it's on the internet, then suddenly people believe it's true. So I've got some favorite conspiracies.
Okay.
One thing I noticed throughout this interview is that George Farmer sometimes gives subtle clues to Candace when to stop, shut up, or stop it. And it's not just this interview, in other ways. Notice how when she started talking about the Jewish, you look at him, he slid his eye towards probably where the producers or those filming will be, probably to tell them to whisper into her ear, say, cut it out. And then somehow you see how his head drops and he says, okay. That is him subtly saying, stop it. And Candace doesn't know when to stop. That's the problem with Candy Baby. That is why she has to constantly retract, come to the front, go to the back, always. So when he made this subtle movement, I told myself, the nosy person in me cannot be quiet when I see things like this. I have to check it out. So when I checked it out, they say that there are several claims or some claims online that George Farmer's mom was a Jewish immigrant from Zimbabwe. And that claim appeared to be in at least one blog-style article. And I saw this article by someone called The Rope Man. And this article was produced December 5th, 2025, titled The Taste of Money. And he says, while many critical thinkers will be familiar with the term honey trap, how many are cognizant of the term money trap? You are speaking our language. Go deeper. And now him suddenly he mentions Charlie Kirk in this article and says, whilst there exists numerous volumes of evidence to suggest that Charlie Kirk was in a marriage to a woman who may be termed a classic example of a honeypot, and that she may have been a key component in his demise, there are similar questions that are beginning to emerge regarding Candace Owens' marriage to a certain George Farmer. And many are saying that George Farmer is a money pot. Wow. I have heard this conspiracy theory about George and Erica before. Now, let me go to the side of the article that specifically talks about George Farmer's mom or something like that. Let's read this. It says, Farmer, now in his mid-30s, hails from an elite British political and financial dynasty. He is the son of Lord Michael Farmer, a conservative peer in the House of Lords, and Jennifer Ann Potts, a doctor and Jewish immigrant from Zimbabwe. Raised in luxury, Farmer attended prestigious institutions like St. Paul's School and Oxford University, where he studied philosophy, politics, and economics. I will tell you guys one thing about this article. And if you like, I will link the article below so you can go read it. Or if you like us to do a full deep dive of this article, please, if I have enough comments in the comment section for me to do it, I'll do it. Otherwise, you can go read it on your own. You will enjoy it. It's a good read. This is one thing I noticed about the article. The article states most of the things it talks about George's background, his upbringing, are classically related or similar to the ones the public media or Wikipedia or most of the public sources state about him. Now, the little parts or bits it removed or did not have in the public sources are things like the mom being from a Jewish background and things like that. Because when you look at his Wikipedia, the public one, the mainstream one, it simply says Farmer was born on 7th of July 1990 in London, United Kingdom, to Michael Farmer and Jennifer Potts. He further became this. It doesn't say much about George Farmer's mom nor his dad. That's something I really want to dig into, George Farmer's parents' background. I know his father said his parents were poor, his mom was an alcoholic and stuff like that. I would like to dig into his grandparents' background. That would be an interesting dive. But then, the aspect of Candace Owens, when she started talking about this thing, you see a shift in his demeanor. He doesn't want this discussion. And he has already looked at the camera crew. Probably they already understand his signs of stop. And probably that's why he doesn't want to come to the podcast always, because if the alleged handler has to constantly be seen in front, somehow this woman will be saying a lot of things that he doesn't want being said out here in the streets. And she'll be saying rubbish at the end of the day, because there are many times that I notice him wanting the conversation to end there, wanting the thing to be stopped at that point, and they don't. It's the same like when they were talking about when they were asking him about the Andrew Tate of it all, and she was trying to name how many times she has seen him, and anyway, we are going to look at that in a few seconds, and you see him really indicating like, Kurt, stop, but Candace doesn't know how to take a hint, so she keeps going. The girl, we like that for you, because at least it helps us see exactly who you are and what you are going through. So is your husband a money pot? We would like to know. Guys, this is very interesting because she likes to claim this independent media here, independent, oh my God, I'm giving my life up. Meanwhile, George Farmer is in the background sponsoring everything and is her money pot, allegedly. And she likes to claim, I have said it before, there is none of these independent media people who were, first of all, mainstream or who worked with mainstream who are suddenly just independent. They are not just independent. If we look into, I'm working on a video that looks at the transition or the evolution of mainstream media to independent or alleged independent media personalities, and you will see that all of them, the same sponsors are still most of the same sponsors. The same thing are the same thing. They are just pushing a narrative using a different way now because the mainstream media has been branded as fake news. So right now, what do we have to do? The reason Trump had to brand every mainstream media as fake news is so that they can have independent media that they will now be controlling, because they couldn't control the mainstream media. The Zuckerbergs and all the billionaires had bought all of those. So for them to have their own independent media, which will not be mainstream, they had to discredit all of those. So how do you get to that? You have to discredit those and then you create yours. And that is exactly what happened. That's why Candace Owens cannot go 2 words without telling you how terrible the mainstream media is. Meanwhile, she lies the same as them these days. These days, anything I hear from both her or the mainstream media, I have to fact check, because both of them are the same liars. Okay, you flip the coin, you can pick a liar or you pick a lie or the truth, and the truth rarely shows up with both of them. So at the end of the day, that is what we're dealing with.
People believe it, it's true. So I've got some favorite conspiracies.
Okay.
One, that your father is a Rothschild, that I'm a Rothschild. It's amazing. Or I marry into the Rothschild family. That's a good one.
Uncle
Let's just
Jacob.
roll with that. I just would like the money. I just would like the money.
You know how Candace Owens has been out in the street, even going as far as berating Charlie Kirk that he associated money to success. She is not like that. She doesn't care about money. She doesn't give a damn about it.
Everybody has a vice, and when I reflect on Charlie's, it is probably that he associated success and growth with money. Me, I don't suffer from that vice. I don't care about money. I would gladly, as you have seen me do, burn it all to the ground to get out one modicum of truth.
That's why she's willing to put her life on the line, allegedly. Meanwhile, she's collecting checks every day from sponsorship deals, everything, and YouTube. But, well, who am I to say anything, girl? Do you? But she says she doesn't care about money. You are going to hear her say about how many times she will say it here, that she would just care, she would just want the money. Well, definitely she hit the money pot. And that 17 days was the time it took for them to draft up the contracts, for them to agree on the terms and conditions. Go tell yourself what you want to tell yourself. They said it themselves. Nothing romantic was said. Money pot. It's ringing money pot.
That's a good one.
Uncle
Let's just
Jacob.
roll with that. I just would like the money. If that is true, I want the money.
Uncle Jacob Rothschild.
It's like, I'm like, where do they come up with this stuff?
Now, when it comes to the Rothschild issue, you remember, those of you who have not watched the Bulletin Club and all the entire video, that is why I insisted you watch it, because if you watch that video, you will understand why here they are blatantly lying. Because allegedly, these people have Candace Owens' husband has a link to the Rothschild, because they are linked to individuals, not only individuals who were part of the Bulletin Club, but allegedly it is not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry who shows up in the Bulletin Club and you're accepted, which is why most of the members of the Bulletin Club go on to become leaders of the world. For example, we have 2 prime ministers from there, kings and individuals. The Rothschild are known members of the Bulletin Club. And that is why many times they are linked to George Farmer. And George Farmer can go ahead and deny any links to the Rothschild as much as he wants. But then their relationship, their family background has been sanitized as much as possible. For someone like him who has a very fertile and fruitful background and rich life, his Wikipedia looks like somebody who started life yesterday. There is a reason for that, because they are trying to sanitize and minimize as much as possible. And if you look at his countenance, why his wife is ranting and raving about all of these things, you can tell he is not comfortable with them discussing these issues. He does not want these issues being discussed publicly like that. Probably he understood and he had made it clear to his asset that when I wink or when I wipe my eye, when I look left and right, you should stop the discussion, change the subject. But Candy Baby is like that. She doesn't know how to change the subject, okay? Once she has her fingers dig in there, she wants to keep going. Me. Ugh.
Somebody creates a chart, and the next thing you know, they're like, okay, somehow Candace is married to the Rothschild family. I honestly, guys, if that was true, you would be the first to know.
No, we will not be the first to know because you lie a lot and you will hide it as much as possible and you've made it clear all you want is the money. That is why it took you just 17 days to sign the contract and say, yes, allegedly, all I want is the money because nothing romantic was said to you. What woman who claims to be so loving-dovey, oh, romantic family, oh yeah, love, 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 ooh, bisou, bisou, ma chérie coco. But in 17 days, nothing romantic was said to you. You were never taken to lunch, dinner, or any kind of date. But then when they say, will you marry me over FaceTime? She said, yeah, baby, let's do this shit. Yeah, that was the time when she had confirmed the contract and the guy said, okay, let's do this, okay? Yeah, you can tell yourself what you want to tell yourself. That is what I'm stating my fingers on, allegedly. Look at how uncomfortable she is. And so is Josh Farmer. They are literally trying to sink into the chair as they discuss the subject.
The second one, now this is a new favorite one that we deal with, that my in-laws hate me. That Christmas must be very tricky around the table.
First of all, when I heard this particular one, I was immediately taken aback. Even if I found a conspiracy theory about my in-laws online hating me, I'm not sure I would think about discussing it on a podcast because, especially with my husband, bringing my husband to discuss it, because I will not find it relevant, especially if I am fine with my in-laws, there is no issue. What was the reason? Cardi B, where are you now? I need you to say, what was the reason? What was the reason?
What was the reason? I just explained the reason. What was the reason?
What was the reason, Candy, for discussing this to begin with, if you are fine with your in-laws?
Yeah, I know. That's a big one. I mean, they're all great. These are great. These are keep going.
I'm like, actually, our family, like, we just get along really well. And that has been something that has been unique and also been a blessing, is how different, I mean, especially I think when I first met your parents, I was freaking out because we come from such different walks of life. And I really am from like the wrong side of the tracks. What? But they were just so gracious. And I think that speaks to, obviously, the fact that they are Christian and your dad dedicates so much of his life.
What? This woman, oh, Lord. Candace, let me tell you something. Let me let you in on a small secret. Your in-laws liking you or not liking you have nada to do with Christianity, okay? Your mom, your father-in-law, your mom-in-law can still not like you and be Christian. And they can still like you and not be Christian. You get what I mean? Oh, that's too far. That's too much for you to comprehend? Because I don't get it. Why are you trying to justify whether your father-in-law, your mother-in-law likes you or not, your in-laws like you or not, has anything to do with the fact that they are Christian or not? Honey, if that is where you go as your base to see the reasons for someone liking you or not, that tells me a lot about your anyway, you said it already. She said her motive already, but you know the unfortunate part? Most people will let it slide over the head, okay? Let her tell you again.
I just would like the money. He leads his life as a Christian. So much of his work is driven by his faith and what he does, which is really funny because people have turned this into a conspiracy theory. He's in the House of Lords, like dun dun dun.
And there goes beautiful Candy baby. Whenever she cannot substantiate where she has diverted to, she switches to another topic. Bait and switch. She cannot talk about the aspect, whether her in-laws like her or not. So let's just go to my in-law, what he actually does.
I mean,
I'm like, have you read what he does in the House of Lords? All he does is work on family policy. He leads with his faith. He's just such a wonderful person. I get very defensive when people try to create conspiracy theory there. I'm like, go look at what he actually writes and what he does and what he dedicates his life to. And
while we do this, I would like you to pay attention to one thing. The way this woman doesn't know how to let her husband slide in, even when they're talking about his own damn parents, okay? Yeah. And the funny thing is, if she actually understood what her father-in-law did and really could substantiate it beautifully, well, I will understand why she kept cutting him off before he could say, she keeps going. And it's just part of the gospel throughout this interview because she doesn't know when to stop, okay? But I told myself, yeah, for some reason, I said, let me look into it again very much because from the way she was talking, I could tell. Saying he leads with his faith has nothing to do with the House of Lords. You can't be talking about policy or politics and you're talking about him leading with his faith. Is there a branch of the UK constitution or UK government that has anything to do with faith? So I said, okay, for those in the back who are not from the UK like us, and those of us who don't understand the UK system, let me look into it. And please, if I'm wrong, I would like all of my UK British people, please get under the comment section with your accents and let me know or update my knowledge. The House of Lords is part of the UK government. The United Kingdom is divided into two parts of parliament. House of Commons, that is elected politicians, and the House of Lords, that is appointed or hereditary members. Now, Candace Owens' in-law is member of the House of Lords. Those are people who are appointed, and he was appointed to that position. The House of Lords reviews, debates, and revises laws. It acts as a second chamber that checks the work of the House of Commons. Now, if the House of Commons are elected politicians and they are there to put forward the political view of life or part of the government, why is Candace Owens sitting on a podcast saying that he leads with his faith if they are there to check what the politicians are actually doing? You see, that's why I say sometimes Candace Owens sounds like she is just sounding from space. If you don't understand what he does, let your husband speak, but she will not, because that poor man cannot say a word. Well, he's not a poor man. He's part of the handling system. So what is my business there? So Lord Farmer is a title. George Farmer's father, George Michael Farmer, was given the title Baron Farmer. That makes him a member of the peerage, a system of noble titles in the UK. Being a baron means he is allowed to sit in the House of Lords and vote on legislation. How did he get that position? He was appointed as a life peer, meaning he earned the title due to contributions, usually political, business, charity, public service. The title does not pass to children. It ends when he dies. And this is where I had a little complication. I was not very sure. So I would like the Brits to help me with this aspect, because when Candace Owens were married, I noticed that when the official finished you can now kiss your bride, he turned and introduced Candace Owens as Lord and Mrs. Farmer.
Present to you, Honourable George and Candace Farmer.
Something like that, which means they are actually inheriting that title from their father, right? If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comment section. And also, there are a couple of times when Candace Owens has said she has a title which comes from her father-in-law. So I don't understand, if the children cannot bear this title, is it that when he dies, the family stops using it? Or is it like, I don't understand. I would like someone to explain that part to me, because when they say children cannot inherit the title, but currently George Farmer and his wife are using the title, I would like to understand that part. So Brits, please get in the comment section with your gorgeous accents and let me know about it. So what he eventually does there is that, in practical terms, Michael Farmer can debate and vote on UK laws. He is also addressed as Lord Farmer. He represents a certain political group. He's associated with the Conservative Party, doesn't have royal power. It's more of a legislative and honorary role. Now, after explaining all of this, where or what has it got to do with he leads with his faith, please? He leads with his faith. Candace, sometimes when you don't understand the concept of something, just leave it alone. Go and read. The reason she was telling us to go and read is because she herself doesn't know what her father-in-law does. And she has already inherited the title he has. Okay.
They were so gracious and so accepting of us and of me more than anything, like as someone who they did not know at all.
Candace, do you understand that every in-law who enters a family does not know the other person at all? I don't think most cases, most daughter-in-laws are not known by the parents-in-law or the sisters-in-laws or brother-in-laws. They don't know who they are. Their brother, sister, cousin brings the person and say, this is the one I love and I want to marry, or who I've signed the alleged contract with for 17 days. And they just have to say, okay, we like you or we don't like you, but it's the adult's decision. So I don't understand what you mean by who they did not know at all. Is there someone who is, okay, I understand. There are people who know their people from childhood who they are going to get married to. That exists, but generally you don't know at all.
So
I should just say for the record that, first of all, in answer to the first one, I have no known relations who are Rothschild, as far as I'm aware. Like, I don't know that.
but if we are aware, I want to check.
But if
we are aware, I want to check.
But if I
Lord, even when the man finally seizes a second to throw in a word, Candace cannot let it go. No, she has to scream into it.
Wow, the pressure is getting worse.
find one, I will let people know.
Thank you.
Number two is that the House of Lords is not like kind of, I don't know what people think it is. I mean, it is an American thing where they're like the House of Lords. I think people still think that England is an absolute monarchy.
I was going to say, I think they think that like
and
the
that
king
the
is
king
still
is
the
in
king.
charge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do people know that we had a civil war where we chopped
They don't know how UK government works at
Yeah,
all.
they're like, what is this? Like, we had a civil war. We chopped the head of a king. Like Charles I, he lost his head. We had a republic. We had a commonwealth for like 12 years where the Puritans were in charge. And then we restored the monarchy, but a constitutional monarchy. So the king has no power. And the House of Lords is a second chamber, much like the Senate, but with much, much, much less power. Like basically no power. I mean, that's, you know, some lord being like, I have power. But they don't really have very much power. And certainly my parents, to the best of my knowledge, I spoke to my parents today, but as far as I'm aware, they don't hate you. They've never told me that they hate you. So that's
They've
news
never
to
given me any
me.
indication. It's news to me.
That is why when it comes to debates, I've always said it, she thrives on this kind of tactics. But even when she's having a simple, beautiful conversation, which is supposed to be just them having a chat up about their life, it turns out to be a combative battle of who gets to speak first, who gets to speak last. Oh my, who gets to prove the point? You have to tell us that your parents have not told you that they hate your wife is news to you. Okay, Dre. All right.
That's a recent favorite one. And then the newest one that has emerged is definitely my favorite. That Andrew Tate has blackmail on you. It's just like,
I would like you to pay close attention to George Farmer's, let's say, body language. Also pay attention to Candace Owens as she tries to laugh it off. Pay close attention to them because everything they will do, say, or how they twitch is going to be extremely telling. I'm going to try to cut it and chop it up in a way that you can see both of their reactions at the same time so you can actually understand what's going on here.
Top G.
where did the top G's
got blackmail on
you?
there.
They're like,
Did you notice how easy it was for him to say top G? That is not just a coincidence. Like I've said before, Candace Owens and Tate are products of George Farmer. This man has mastered public media and he has been testing products for a while. Some people would think one of his products was Parler. It's not.
this is why I'm like, what is anybody ever talking about? I can count, I literally think on 5 fingers how many times I've even met Andrew Tate.
We don't care how many fingers you can count. For someone to possess blackmail on you has nothing to do with how many times you've met them. And it's the same damn thing like when she was trying to defend the other parts before. She goes into Christianity, how many things that have nothing to do with the actual thing at hand. Someone could have never met you but has blackmail on you. Someone could have met you once in your life and you probably did not even recognize that you met them, but they have blackmail on you. And you could have known someone all your life, met them every day of your life, and they have no blackmail on you. So those things are not mutually exclusive. It's not like if you've met someone 15 times or 10 times or 6 times, it means they have blackmail on you. Absolutely. And Candace Owens, for some reason, think that her audience are so stupid and dumb that they are going to conflate the aspect of the number of times someone has met someone with the aspect of them having blackmail or not having blackmail on them. Andrew Tate, it doesn't matter how many times you've met him. He could still have that blackmail. Your husband man said it before. I have known Andrew Tate before Andrew Tate was Andrew Tate. So what were they doing during the time when Top G? Did you hear how fast he said that name? Probably he gave that name to Top G. Even Candace Owens tries her best, even though she has interviewed that man so many times, she tries her best not to use that name. But why was it so smoothly spewed out of George Farmer's mouth in that manner? Because he knows exactly what's going on and he's trying to dilute the solution. You know, when you have a salty soup and it's a season, you've just spent hours trying to cook it and you need to eat it, but it's too salty, you need to dilute it somehow. Whether you have to throw in water, another chicken stew, something has to give for you to eat that soup because it's too cold outside. You cannot go through another struggle to cook another one. That's exactly what's going on here. That topic has already been brought up and probably he doesn't know how to walk it back for them not to mention it. So he has to do everything to dilute it. So what does he do? He throws in jokes, he throws in this. Candace Owens throws in how many times she's met him. It has nada to do with it. Tu me fais parfois, je pense que tu penses que tu es fou ou bien tu penses que les gens qui t'écoutent sont fous. Je ne sais pas. Parce que, Lord, mon Dieu.
Two of them were the times I was interviewing him. Once at the Trump Hotel. I think it's 4. I think the total number is 4.
Listen carefully. George says Andrew behind because he has sent multiple signals, I think, by this time. Because throughout this segment, you will notice him send signals to either Candace or the production team behind the scenes and indicating to them to move on. Candace Owens has no iota how to move on because this girl, sometimes it's not, I realize it's not just messiness because I know she's calculative. Her husband is very calculative. But I think sometimes how her brain is so wired to mess that sometimes she does not intellectually decipher when it's time to stop. And even when her handler allegedly tells her, hey, cut it out, she does not. Look at how far she will keep going until before she stops. Because after even indicating with his mouth, one, he used signals. She ignored them. She said, Andrew. She ignored them. He indicated with his hand cut, neck, cut. She is sitting right in front of that man. And she still ignored the damn signals. She was trying to give a smooth, let's say a smooth cut away for it. But this is the truth. This is not live. This is an episode they actually worked on, edited and posted, which means they could have looked for a way to re-edit something after that part got there. Yeah, they could say, okay, I don't want this anymore. Let's stop. Let's redo it or do something. No. Candice Baby and her production team, I'm sure she went into the basement. What's the name of that her guy she's always calling on the show? And she told him, Skylar, I want you to edit that. Put it there. George Farmer cannot tell me what to do on my podcast in this basement. He cannot tell me. He's my money pot, but it does not mean that he has a say over what I do in this basement. This is my basement. He has his corner where he goes to smoke his cigarettes. This is my part. This is for me. I decide what happens in this basement. This is enough. Oh, Candy Baby, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so they think that they've developed this whole thing where like he's known you your whole life and he knows where all the bodies are buried. I'm like, people on the internet.
Do you see how he's now just watching her? Like, whenever you decide to stop this shit, you better stop it, ma'am. And this is Candace Owens for you. Whenever she wants to defend a point, she will look for something. She just scrapes a snake out of the grass and adds to the sauce and hoping that it tastes good and nobody will notice that a whole viper is turning in that soup. Honey, your husband himself said he has known Andrew Tate for a long time. He's known Andrew Tate before Andrew Tate was Andrew Tate. We don't know exactly how far that knowing goes. We don't know if they knew each other from kindergarten, if they knew each other from secondary school, from high school. We don't know yet. But we would like to know and decipher the full depth of that knowledge But unfortunately, you coming to tell us that he has known him all his life tells us a little hint. Probably that is the truth. Because earlier when they asked you if your in-law like you or not, you started bringing about his Christian. Christianity has nothing to do with whether the man likes you or not. The man could be goddamn well the best Christian the world has ever seen, but still not like your ass because of your activities. And he will be well within his Christian rights not to like your ass.
Are mad, but I love a good conspiracy theory, so I love to read them about myself, especially.
Like, he hasn't told me if he has.
If he does.
Maybe he does.
Yeah, George Farmer, he hasn't told you he has. Because the way having blackmail on someone works is that if you have a blackmail on someone and you tell them that you have blackmail on them, yeah, they will come to the internet and tell us, yeah. Especially when you have compromising pictures, videos, or things about their life, yeah, you are supposed to come and tell us that you have blackmail on us. And what Candace says next is going to be, guys, you can't make this shit up. Even if you try. Netflix, Paramount Media, Harvey Weinstein's former company, plus Prime Plus, all of them could come together and they will not write this story. I'm telling you guys, they will not. Because these people think that the people watching these things are so, anyway, they are. Because there are millions. After doing everything, they still consider this perfect and good to go. Okay? Because if someone has blackmail on you, they are not going to come and they tell you they have blackmail and you know they have blackmail. You're not going to come to us and tell, oh yeah, they have blackmail on us. What they say next is way worse. Relax. You relax yourself. You will hear the real one.
Andrew, Tate, also, if you are watching and you have a blackmail file on us, please let us know. Okay.
Exactly.
Don't let randos on the internet know about that.
And it was at this moment when I thought to myself, these people believe completely that their audience are dumb. It's not about eluding that they believe it, that they are dumb. And I have noticed a certain vavavoom flavor to the people who defend individuals without any kind of restraint on the internet. I have seen people defend and even vie for Syria. Yeah. Why do you think the people who were in jail, who after eating bodies, were in jail receiving love letters because they looked cute? Allegedly, according to the eyes of the beholders, they were receiving thousands of letters. Why do you think that was happening? Because of that. Yeah. To those of you who watch the series You on Netflix, or I think it's Netflix, I hope that is it. At the end of the day, that guy was sent to jail and you saw what happened, right? He was constantly receiving love mails from females who said they were so in love because he looked cute. And it's the same damn thing. And I asked myself, if someone who is a serial deleter, after doing all those atrocities, could still have individuals on the internet, not only viciously defending them publicly, but also sending them money into their accounts while they're in jail. They are not only accused, they are convicted, and they are sending them money, sending them love letters. Then why is it far-fetched that Candace Owens and her husband will believe that the people following her will believe everything they tell them? It's not. You see? You don't even have to bother. She doesn't even have to bother. She can say the most batshit crazy thing and it doesn't matter. Why would you tell Andrew, Top G, according to her husband, and as Top G calls himself Top G, if you have blackmail, let us know. Don't let randos on the internet know about it. That's not how blackmail works, honey. And you know it, of course, you and your husband. Your husband is an aristocrat, allegedly. He is someone who understands the business of media. He understands the elite lifestyle. Do you think he runs in those elite circles and he doesn't know people who have blackmail on them and how those things work? He does. And I'm sure he has lectured his wife somehow when they're in bed and say, honey, this person is being blackmailed. This is what happens. This is how it goes. And I'm sure Candace knows it because Candace is smart, okay? She sometimes pretend that she's dumb or she's just plain foolish. Somehow I believe that's an act. Somehow I think it's an act because she is smart and she knows it. So why would the two of them come and sit on the internet? Two of them together. If it's just Candace, I'll say, well, Candace is doing Candace. She and George will sit there and look at us in the face in the camera and tell us, Top G, if you have blackmail on us, tell us, don't let randos on the internet. Wow. Wow. The pressure.
Is getting worse.
But it is one of the things that I think has made our relationship so strong is our ability to laugh at it, because you could not
yeah.
survive this life if you did not have a sense of humor. People coming up every day with a new theory, constantly lying, but somehow if you put it on the internet, it must be true.
And somehow she has convinced her audience that if she puts it on the internet, it is true. You see the irony here? Do you see the depths of the seat these individuals are willing to go for? The reason they had to do a massive campaign for the dismantling of the mainstream media is so that when she slides in as that independent voice of reason, that independent voice of truth and honor, no one will question her. And she sits here and says that if someone puts it on the internet, it's not true, right? Yeah, and we agree. We all agree that if someone puts it on the internet, it's not all true, right? We agree that unless you have evidence to back it up, it's not true. But when she puts it on the internet, it is supposed to be taken as a gospel truth, even when she has no evidence other than her feelings, her vibes, her emotions, or, ooh, this is the sweet spot, dreams. Thank you guys for taking the time and burning up to this 45 minutes to an hour with me. I was really happy to meet you. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share. I have a full playlist which I will link to this video, deep dives, which I know you will love them because you know what? Mwah, chef's kiss. They are amazing. Sometimes we do deep dives and sometimes we just throw in a few reaction videos like this one today. But when we are on our serious side, we really go deep into it. And I cannot wait to hear your commentary on all of this. And to the Brits in the comment section, please let me know if there is something about the British House of Lords, the House of Commons I missed, the interaction between the two. And also, please inform me more. I would like to know because I was not able to understand why it says that the title of Baron, Lord Farmer, Michael Farmer's title could not be passed on to kids. They are his children. But George Farmer is apparently a Lord Farmer, as well as Candace Owens is also a Lord. So please let me know, because in their video when they got married, they introduced them to the world as Lord and Mrs. Farmer. So until then, guys, thank you for stopping by. You can join my membership if you like to support the channel. It helps more than you can ever imagine. Or the Patreon, because sometimes some videos are flagged because of some videos on it. You know how it is, and YouTube and their problems. So when a video is flagged, sometimes I just upload it, the non-censored one, on Patreon, and sometimes on the membership. YouTube is YouTube, all right? Thank you very much for coming through with this. Until next time. Bye.